The next time you drive through Central Georgia, we've got a radio station we think you'll love. We're Magic 100, playing all of the songs you grew up with. You'll find us at 100.1 FM. That's 100.1. On I-75, you can tune us in from the north at Locust Grove and from the south when you get to Perry. 100.1 FM. Classic soul hits. Magic 100.
This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 183 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. What's up? What's up? Yeah, we're back for another one, y'all. Each week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea from the one and only Tonya B. And on this week's episode, we can't help but talk about it. The mass shooting episodes, the epidemic continues. Joe Blow takes on a whole new meaning in the White House. Cocaine found in the White House. The Newsmaker crew is here to talk about it all. Bai and Talib Shabazz, thank you so much, fellas, for showing up. Tonya B has your tea, and I'll catch you up on a few new things to watch, including, I'm going to go ahead and say it, the WHAM documentary on Netflix. Your brother man watched it. So yes, I'll talk to you about it. Most of all, thank you so much for joining us this week. Let's get into it. News with Syracuse. Mike, what you got, Mike?
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
In Baltimore, 2 people have been killed and at least 28 were wounded in a mass shooting. As of Sunday afternoon, 3 of the wounded were in critical condition. Mayor Brandon Scott.
This is an absolute tragedy that did not have to happen. It again highlights the impacts and the need to deal with the overproliferation of illegal guns on our streets and the ability for those who should not have them to get their hands on them.
In Wichita, Kansas, there was another mass shooting.
We ended up identifying at this point 7 shooting victims and 2 traumatic injury victims. We believe all of the injuries occurred inside the business.
That's Wichita Lieutenant Aaron Moses. 9 people were shot and 2 were trampled in the shooting at a nightclub where someone opened fire just before 1 a.m. Sunday. In France, President Emmanuel Macron has met with senior officials in the hopes that the worst of the violence in that country is now over. According to CNN, police in France have arrested more than 2,000 people over multiple nights of violence across several major cities, including Paris. The clashes between tens of thousands of police officers and largely young men out on the streets is in response to the death of a 17-year-old French North African teenager who was fatally shot by a police officer Tuesday after being stopped for a traffic violation. The officer was taken into custody. In a southern Paris suburb, a group rammed a car into the home of the mayor there, injuring his wife and one of his children. The grandmother of the boy who was killed said she wants the rioting to stop. Millions of Americans celebrated the nation's birthday Tuesday. Unfortunately, this 4th of July weekend was marked by multiple mass shootings across the country. In Philadelphia, police spent Independence Day trying to figure out a motive behind Monday's mass shooting. A 40-year-old man is in custody, according to Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw.
This armed and armored individual wreaked havoc, firing with a rifle at their victims, seemingly at random. Shooting 7, killing 5.
A 15-year-old was among the 5 people killed. Mayor Jim Kenney.
This was a terrible, tragic situation that has traumatized the community. We are begging Congress to protect lives and do something about America's gun problem.
Police say there appears to be no connection between the victims and the shooter. A Secret Service spokesman told CNN that lab testing for the substance found at the White House on Sunday has come back positive for cocaine. And now there is a response from the Biden administration. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
When it comes to visitors to the West Wing, they come for many reasons. Obviously, we do have West Wing tours that occur here. They happen in this particular past couple of days. They happen on Friday, they happen on Saturday and Sunday.
The FDA has given full approval to an Alzheimer's drug. An 1,800-patient study showed the drug slowed memory and thinking decline by about 5 months. Medicare and several other insurance plans will cover it. There are some side effects that will need to be monitored. The jobs market cooled last month, but experts don't think that's going to knock the Federal Reserve off course and prevent additional interest rate hikes this year. The Labor Department reported Friday that U.S. employers added 209,000 jobs in June. Thursday, payroll processor ADP reported growth in private sector jobs of nearly 500,000.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It is, thank you so much, Syracuse Mike. And as we tape, man, episode 183, America definitely has a problem. From Friday to early Wednesday over the holiday, 22 mass shootings across 17 states, and that includes D.C. At least 20 people killed, more than 100 injured, and that's according to the Gun Violence Archive. I just don't know what to do. And we'll get deeper into it. And the Newsmaker crew is here, by the way. Vi is in the building. Vi, what's up? What's up, Vi?
Hey, people. Glad to be back.
Yes. Talib Shabazz. I'm going to go and say it, man. Talib the Brain Supreme is in the building. I don't care. Come for me, DC. Come for me, Steve Rowland. All right. And the other thing, and again, just to hit on the headlines Mike talked about, Joe Blow is what I'm calling it. Cocaine in the White House. And again, the familiar phrase is coming. It wasn't me. It ain't mine.
Right.
Everybody's like running in the other direction. And on a brighter note, the FDA approves Alzheimer's drug. It is going to be covered by Medicare, which is a great thing. It's going to help a whole lot of people, hopefully. Some side effects, but, with any kind of drug like this, the fact that it's been approved, it's out there, and it could help people, especially with early onset. This could be a major development. And the other thing, the economy seems to be stabilizing a bit with the jobs report kind of lightening up a bit. So the feds don't have to raise interest rates as much. And one more thing, and I'm going to ask, and I'm hoping to lead, you can jump in on this at the end of the show before we close this segment. The Bow Wow, Shad Moss comment on hip hop. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Vi, I'm going to start with you, Vi. From Friday to early Wednesday, man, we had the holiday shootings, man. What do we do? What do we do?
Be honest, I have no clue, because until Congress does something, there's nothing we can do. We protested. I mean, I'm tired of hearing Congress say, God bless that family. I mean, I hate to say, I think, and I hope this never happened. Unless something happens to somebody in Congress that touched them at home, nothing's going to change. Because right now, it's Congress by money.
The crazy thing, Vi, just real quick. The crazy thing, Vi, is funny, and I'm just cut you off there, but I want you to think about this. Remember the softball game? The congressional softball game where the guy came in and shot up the softball game?
Yes.
Right. So it has happened to them. Right. To some of the people.
Them. I'm talking about.
I don't know what it's going to take.
I mean, like family. Right. Family. When it happens to you, you eventually get over it. But when you lose someone in your family, like a son, mother, that hits at home. That's hard to get over. You can't get over that. But when it happens to you, you can. Money heals that when it happens to you, because you realize, it ain't gonna happen to me again. But you can never get your mom back or family member. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. But it seemed like, Congress just, it's gotta be money, so why are they ignoring it? Because right now, America probably is one of the worst countries in the world to live in.
To leave your thoughts on that.
America's tripping. It's funny to see how much these mass shootings, how many people these mass shootings have affected over just the last 5 years. Actually, let's just say since COVID, because COVID, crime was down. Everybody's in the house. Now it's like people are trying to not only get where they were pre-COVID in terms of, these mass shootings, but they're trying to one-up it, It's, the powers that be do not want sensible gun legislation. They just don't. And I don't know, what it's going to take for we the people, to really make a move and do something. Maybe a race war at South Stone Mountain Park, is what it's going to take to get some gun legislation going. But I mean, I'm not a gun owner. I'm not into guns. But I don't care if anybody else owns one. I just want you to be smart about it. If you got to have a driver's license, if you got to have a marriage license, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going, why do you not believe in a gun license?
Yeah. Vi, I'm going to go to you and then I'll give my take. So, Vi, what other comment did you have? And then I'll give you my take.
I should take it back. It's not necessarily Congress. It's the people who are funneling the money to Congress. It need to hit home with them. Home with them.
Yeah.
The people who funnel the money in Congress, who's making the most money from the weapons. Because clearly they done the work to Congress and Congress has not changed their mind. So, like I said, I don't know. Like it's to the point where America is probably the most unsafest country to live into right now. Civilized, unsafest country.
Well, see, and you know what? Leaving that point, Vi, it goes to my point. I'm glad you said that. I think the only way America is really going to start addressing this is if America starts losing stuff.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, we just got the announcement about FIFA and the World Cup coming in 2026. I think once a lot of these countries, the Olympics, the international community starts saying, hey, we're not bringing anything to America. It's just not safe. Right. And I know people will say, well, America's got all this money, all this fame, all this. But I think the world is starting to look, because you got to keep in mind, these mass shootings and the number of shootings that have happened in America are so far ahead of the rest of the world. It's not even close.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think the world, just like I said, FIFA, the soccer community is looking at 2026 and the World Cup, and there may be an opportunity. It may get so bad, they may say, look, we're not coming. We're not bringing our people. We're not going to tell the world to come to America for the World Cup. And I think once this stuff really starts to hit at America in the, from a financial, in the pocketbook, once the reputation, which is already tattered, it's already torn with all the stuff that's going on. I think it's going to, once it becomes a UN international issue more so, and they start losing stuff, then I think they're really going to start looking at, okay, we need to put something in place, because these cities don't want to lose money.
Yeah, but that's the problem really is that there are too many patsies for the donors. The donor class has too many patsies. There are too many people that are still motivated by the dark money in politics to really do things sensible. So, it's either we're really going to have to do something to curb that and get the money, get the dark money out of politics, or we the people are going to have to take a more serious stance in this whole thing with legal challenges, as opposed to just this protesting thing. We're going to have to come with some kind of standing so that we can be heard by these people who are making these decisions and or getting them out of the way.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, Talib, and go ahead. We'll move away from that because limited time. I'll go to you for your big takeaway from the week. What's your big takeaway? And I'll come to you, Vi, but first, Talib.
Yeah, go to Vi first.
Okay, Vi. Vi, what's your big takeaway, man?
Well, my big takeaway is probably really not that important, but we say the economy is doing great, job-wise, but ESPN doesn't feel that way. You saw people they fired. Some of these folks, if I'm good gracious, I would never thought that they would lose their job. So it just tells you. Keyshawn, Max. Yeah. What's that basketball, that main basketball spokesman, the coach? The one you used to coach Knicks back in the day.
Van Gundy.
Jeff, how you split that? How you split that?
Van Gundy.
How you split that team up? So is it really about money?
Well, I'll speak to that from an industry standpoint. There's some big contracts, okay, with these names, huge contracts. And, as it relates to just your typical day-to-day broadcaster, these are big contracts. And Disney is already, as a whole, because it's a Disney company, has already been downsizing and making cuts. So honestly, this is all about shedding big contracts. And
from my understanding,
you're not going to lose somebody like Stephen A. Stephen A. Stephen A's like the flagship, but at least, yeah.
Because they said even though
let me say though, Bob,
you still got to get paid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They still got to honor the contract.
But they have shareholders. Okay. And the shareholders are saying, stop the bleeding. And even though you might have a contract you have to pay off, there's an end date. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when they make a decision as a company and they say, okay, we're going to go ahead and cut these contracts, and we know that we're going to see savings after, let's say, the end of these particular contracts, we'll start to see savings. So it's not immediate, but what it does say is we're taking steps. And you know what? Honestly, it comes down to the shareholders. It's a public company, and they're just showing the shareholders, that they're in good faith doing their job financially to make sure the company stays in the green. It stays in the black.
Okay.
I'll go to you, Talib, next. Yep.
Yeah.
Talib.
Okay. So I think my big takeaway for the week really is humility and modesty. We've had two stories. I'm sure Tonya B is going to be covering the KeKe Palmer, with the Usher thing.
Wow.
We got India.Irie with, her conversations to Janelle Monáe and Megan Thee Stallion. Somebody's got to say something. And I know that, the people who are talking, may not have. I love the term standing. I've been, we've been hearing a lot with the courts and everything. So I'm gonna use it in this context as well. India.Irie may have a better standing than KeKe Palmer's boyfriend. But the real of it is that somewhere along the way we have gained. I don't know if gained is really the word. It just seems like we're enthralled with just letting everybody know our business, through social media and all these, bloggers. And, now every celebrity has, there is no privacy anymore. It's like, but can we just be honest about some things for a second? I love the shape of a woman. So I would like to see it as much as possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I need her butt-ass naked, or in a bikini, in order to appreciate the woman's physique. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not the only one. I'm just finally saying, can we get just a little bit more common sense on how our sisters and brothers are dressing and looking out in public? It's the same thing. I feel the same thing with the bonnets and pajamas and the house shoes and the pants under the ass and, and the whole, I gotta be the slut of the week. It's just getting tiring. It's tired, y'all. We need something new.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know what? We'll come back to that. You made some statements. The final thing before we leave, I want to get the opinion on Shad Moss. And I think some of what you're saying has to do with that as well.
Definitely.
But my big takeaway is, I think people are talking about it, Threads versus Twitter.
Yeah.
The Meta dropped the new, they call the Twitter Killer app.
Right.
On July 6th, I signed up. A whole lot of folks signed up. I mean, according to Meta,
like 10 million,
they got 2 million within the first 2 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
So far, as of this taping, they have 70 million signups on this app. And Meta is, basically positioned Threads as the new space for conversation, real-time conversations. public conversations, and it's tied to Instagram. So, that flood of Instagram, just came right on into, when they opened it up into Threads. Elon Musk is big mad. He's suing because he's claiming, Zuck hired all the people he fired and trade secrets got breached in the building of Threads. So, it's going to be interesting to watch, but I'm glad to see it because honestly, I mean, you know what? Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, it's kind of like the lesser of two evils, okay? Yeah. But Elon Musk has just been saying so much problematic stuff and doing so many problematic things within the last few months. And then for him to go out and tell people what they can't do and can do on Twitter, people are just fed up. The timing was just, it was horrible. Yeah. So, a lot of people fled. So I'm glad to see it. I will follow it and, kind of keep you guys up to date. But I'm glad to see it. Yeah. Honestly, I'll be honest. I was looking for a way out of Twitter. And
I haven't used Twitter regularly in at least 5 years.
Yeah, I was looking for a way out, and this hopefully is another way. By the way, we are on Threads at This Is the G Podcast. You can find us there. And I get to use the full name, not just at This Is the G Pod, because Twitter's names are short. But now I can use the full name of the show, so I'm happy. Yeah. And one more thing I got to do. I got to shout out for the week, man. Just say thank you. Top 10 cities checking us out every week. Of course, ATL is our home base. Atlanta, McDonough, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama. Big thanks, especially to Troy Fam and Smurfs. Decatur, Georgia, Mobile, Alabama. Shout out to internationally, Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much. Appreciate you out there. Johannesburg. What's the word?
Johannesburg.
You know what I'm talking about it. San Antonio, Texas, Douglasville, Georgia, Lithonia, and rounding out the top 10, Los Angeles. Just appreciate it. Got to give you a hand. Yeah, most definitely. So those are my two big things. Thank you so much. And I'll make sure I acknowledge the folks who are really giving us support from at least once a month, every other week. But I want to do this before we go. We got just a few minutes, so I want y'all to be as concise as you can be. Okay, on just be direct on your answers to this. Okay. This, as we tape, the same time last year, there had been 6 rappers, albums, singles that hit number 1 on the top 100. Okay. Right. As of this time, this point in history, this point in time, as we tape, there's not been one rap artist, rap album at number 1. Right. In 2023. Right. A lot of folks feel that's a problem, and they asked Shad Moss, Bow Wow, on the red carpet at the Billboard, I think Billboard Awards or some Billboard ceremony. Yeah. And this is what he had to say. I want y'all to listen to this and just think about what he says.
So how do you feel about that?
Putting out trash ass music.
No, not the trash music.
It's serious. Everything sounded like everything repetitive, same tempo. It's roll out the bed, everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. And I feel like now we getting in the reason, and now we finally getting to a point where I feel like now it's about to shift back into the real. Like, you really got to have talent. You really got to go. I think people are starting to get tired of it now. That's why you don't see nothing charting. Everything sound the same. Every girl want to get a bag, get a rich, spin the block. I'm sliding on that. Everything is sound the same. Ain't nobody doing nothing different. So it's time to shake the game up and get it back to what it need to get back to. And that's just the real essence of artistry and real good music. Like, that's gonna last forever.
Is there anybody that
I don't know? I ain't heard nothing that I say I'm gonna hear this 30 years from now.
Wow.
Nothing.
There's nobody.
I mean, Drake, Kendrick, and I would say Cole. Other than that,
all right, I'm gonna go to you, Talib. And I'm really going to sit back and listen because you still DJ. You still out there. You spin records. I mean, I was in the industry. And Bob, I'm going to come to you after we kind of give our take just from a consumer standpoint. You let me know what you think. But I'm going to come to you first. Let's go to you first, Talib. Go ahead.
I think it's funny that
don't be sugarcoating now.
Bow Wow, of all people, is saying that there's some trash music out here. That's number one.
That's it.
Right. So, I think that the industry has conditioned the consumer base with bad music for so long that people don't even know how to appreciate good music when it comes out. You know, if you look at people like, you know, Snow Allegra, her, it took them 2 or 3 years to break into the commercial radio space. You know what I mean? And that's quality music. So if we are saying that, you know, there's nothing good right now, that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of good music that's still out there. However, there's not a lot of good music that's making it into the mainstream commercial radio, commercial TV space. And I think the problem is that we have still A&R people and record label people who are just, you know, following the trends as opposed to looking for something that's going to break into that new space, you know, or like, oh my God, this is something that's so creative. You know, it's like, yo, I mean, we had F&F by Glorilla. So now we've got Pound Town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yo.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So it's a matter of this crap just being constantly perpetuated. And people justify.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in right there. Talib, I'm gonna jump in right there for the sake of time, because I get your point, because it really is something we should, fair enough, do a full show on.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get just to start the conversation. I hear you, and I want to kind of dive in a little bit, and I'm gonna give Vi a little bit on this too.
Okay.
My perspective is, you know, I just think it's been brewing for a long time. You're a DJ, I DJ'd, I still mix on the side, kind of play around for fun. And I think he's absolutely right. Now, there's no variety when it comes down to tempo. It's all the same. And when you go to it, it's like the same groove all night. It's almost like, I mean, not to throw shade on go-go. I love go-go, but it's kind of like you could play a go-go beat all night and just, you know, that could be the whole show. You know, and hip hop has just been one drone since trap music and you know, going into it, no shade on trap, but it's like consistent. The other thing is, I think it's too male. You know, I think when you look at what's happening right now, you look at who's really succeeding. You got Taylor Swift blowing everybody away. Yeah. You know, then you got Beyonce. I think the hip hop has gotten too male driven. You know, as dark as it's gotten, you know, you got to remember, women have kids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, so they're not going to jump in the car and put on and start playing Percocet, you know, and that's an old song, but you know, they're not going to jump in with these dark themes and play them around their kids. Some will, you know what I'm saying?
But actually, that's what the problem is now, Thomas, is that we do have that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's too driven. It's too male driven.
Yeah.
So
women want to sound like men.
Yeah, it's too male driven, and women don't necessarily love women rappers. You know what I'm saying? We like women rappers because we like to watch them. We like to look at them. You know, but women don't always like other women. So, and the other thing is, you know, I think when it comes down, you know, again, the dark themes, all the stuff that's happening, man, with the music, the sound, the themes has driven away the suburbs.
Yeah.
You know, so the suburban white kids, even going back to when, you know, we were Public Enemy, the suburban white kids at one point loved the culture. And I think the suburban white kids are starting to, you know, they've had enough of the culture. First of all, they've had enough of these rappers getting shot every other month. You know, I think that scares you away, especially the younger white kids. You know, it's like, do I really want this culture when it's as dangerous and as dark, not like in the color, but just the themes are as dark. So I think a lot of white girls who used to be down with the rap crew are now back to Taylor Swift.
Almost.
They want to be Swifties.
Well, you know, and the only thing I'm gonna say to that is that the trends on TikTok are still with these white girls taking these little pieces of, you know, popular rap songs or, you know, and making just their little appearance. And that's the extent of it.
But that doesn't mean it's gone. Right. It just means from a commercial standpoint, I can do it all on TikTok, but I ain't gonna buy it. Exactly. Because Billboard takes into effect the sales, the charts, the airplay. Right. You know, and you know, you and I came from this world. The white stations, man, they don't want to play the dark stuff. They don't want to be here. Suburban moms, why are you playing this? They don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go to you, Vi. Last word. Vi, you got the last word.
A little bit of combination both for you.
Go ahead.
I don't think the producers are actually looking for anything new. They're looking for the next hit. Instead of trying to find something that's going to get to people, they're just playing the next hit, which is the same thing. We've got tired of it. And the music is so dark and sexuality right now. We won't play because I won't play. I don't even try to listen to any of the new stuff. But I'm an old man, so that's different. But I would not let my kid listen to that in front of me. They can listen to it on their own, but they can't listen to it in front of me. And like I said, it's too male driven. The women rappers might well be male rappers, except they just look like women. They both talking about the same thing. How much money I got, how much drip I got, drop it on this, get this. I mean, the women talking about screwing the men. Just as much as the men talking about screwing the women. So who wants to hear that all the time? And I think, he said, there is good music out there. Because I've heard some good R&B music. I be going, dang, why am I not hearing this? Because they're not trying to play R&B music.
Right.
All you want to play, you go to a radio station, all you hear is rap. You want to hear R&B song. Basically, hear R&B song, you got to go to a concert.
Here we go. I'll stop. I'm gonna stop you on that point, Vi. I appreciate it, man, so much again. Vi, Talib, Shabazz, man, appreciate y'all, Newsmaker crew. And we love your thoughts on all this stuff we've talked about. Go to Castropolis.net, choose the people poll. Again, Castropolis.net, leave us a voicemail, the best one I'll play back. And again, thank you, Talib. Thank you, Vi. Again, we'll get back to some of this stuff because, there's still more that we need to be talking about and bringing up regarding all this. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and do the Tea with Tonya B after this message, and we'll be right back.
More. This is the G Podcast after the break.
It's tea time, y'all. Sippin' the tea with Tonya B.
All right, it's time for tea, children. And it's time for some G Podcast tea. It's your girl, Tonya B. Let's just get right to it. I got a lot to tell you and not a whole lot of time. So here we go, Tommy B. First off, we want to start off with prayers up to the family of the legendary, iconic actor Robert De Niro. He was in some of the most classic, well-known films of all time. Goodfellas, Casino, The Godfather, and of course, for those of us of a certain age, you remember Taxi Driver. You talking to me? But more recently, he's really going through it. His grandson, also an actor, Leandro De Niro, recently passed away from a drug overdose. Y'all, stop with these drugs. He bought some drugs laced with fentanyl, and they took his life. Just stay away. And back in the 80s, they said, just say no. Can we do that now? Prayers up to singer KeKe Wyatt. Her son's back in the hospital for about the 10th time or so. She has 10 other kids. I don't know how she does it, but I'm sure we can all touch and agree that KeKe Wyatt can sing the doors off the hinges no matter what. Also want to give some shine to somebody who never really got their just due. I'm talking about former WNBA All-Star, two-time Olympic medalist, and award-winning NCAA women's basketball coach Nikki McCray Penson. At the young age of 51, she just lost a battle with breast cancer and leaves behind a son, a husband, and an amazing legacy. So much so, she was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame back in 2012. So, let's give her flowers, okay? Because she certainly does deserve them. All right, let's go to love, marriage, and messy divorce. Celebrity divorces announced this week. Ricky Martin living la vida loca because he apparently had an open marriage, aka license to cheat. That hardly ever works. You don't believe me? Ask Latasha Scott of Escape. Now, Ricky Martin had an ironclad prenup with his soon-to-be ex-husband. Also divorcing award-winning singer and actor Billy Porter. Actor Kevin Costner, messy, even messier, the ongoing divorce between Faith Evans and Stevie J. Now, do you think she actually regretted marrying him? I think so. He stole a car, publicly disrespected her, and now he wants her to pay him because if you think about it, he has no real income. He has a lot of bills, and it is costing her so far $1 million. Now, Faith can still do shows, and she still gets money from her songwriting catalog. This is her third marriage and soon to be third divorce. Maybe she should try to stay single and not try to be like Elizabeth Taylor, okay? She'll be out there working like Mary J. Blige and Neo to pay off their exes. I don't know. I do know this. I think we can all agree that actor Jonathan Majors is on a redemption tour. I can barely get it out. He showed up last night to the cookout in New Orleans, y'all, aka the Essence Festival. But does anybody really care? And yes, he did bring Megan Good to the cookout. Now, talking about Essence, singer India.Irie is questioning why Megan Thee Stallion thought she had to bring so many twerkers to this major event that was streamed worldwide, sexualizing women. Then you've got her also questioning singer Janelle Monáe, who gave the audience a look at her girls. You know what I'm talking about, because she pulled off her top at the event. Now, was she thirst trapping because this is her second album in a row that's not doing too well? Maybe she ought to call Tracee Ellis Ross and say, how can I do a tasteful topless photo? Because Tracee Ellis Ross got that, honey. In other Essence news, the true stars of the entire festival, Jill Scott, hey Jilly from Philly, Miss Lauryn Hill, even though she was late, and even Missy Elliott, even though she did not do her classic hit, The Rain. Hip-hop was in full effect. West Coast Mob, Ice Cube, Yo-Yo, The South, T.I., Ludacris, Outkast, and Jermaine Dupri, and of course New York. But it is what it is. Until next year. Now, Beyonce is kicking off the North American leg of her Renaissance tour, and once again, she and Kelly Rowland are giving back to their hometown of Houston, Texas in a huge way. You may recall after Hurricane Katrina, they built housing for displaced and low-income families, and now they are building housing for the homeless in Houston, Texas. That's going to be a big bill. But you know what? If they can't do it, who can? I applaud them for stepping up, showing out, and putting their money where their mouth is. Now, speaking of that, let's talk about rapper, TV, and radio star Da Brat. She and her wife Jessica welcomed a baby boy this week. Congratulations to them. Let me say something. Y'all leave them alone because they chose to use a Caucasian sperm donor and not Jermaine Dupri. I'm just saying. I don't make the news. I just report it. You can catch Usher in the most recent issue of Vogue magazine, looking great, and I'm hearing still cheating. Anyway, he talks about life, relationships, being a dad to 4 kids, and he is Mr. Las Vegas. You got to give him that. But also trending to do with Usher, KeKe Palmer showed up at his Las Vegas show with most of her goodies hanging out with her girls, and she fanned out. And as Usher said, don't bring your girl around me, true, play it for real, okay? So then KeKe's no job having baby daddy shamed her on social media while he sat on social media in his underwear. Double standard. Now talking about he has standards. I heard they broke up again, but we'll have to see what happens. But if you know what, with somebody as high profile as KeKe Palmer, if you're not mature and secure, this could happen. Do not put your dirty laundry out there for the public. Well, I'm hearing that Usher may well be the Super Bowl 2024 halftime entertainment. So we'll just see what happens with that. Also, let's talk some more about Madonna. Now, I told you last week how she was in the ICU with this so-called bacterial infection, and I just didn't believe it. And I think there's still more to the story because she had to be revived with Narcan, which is usually used to revive people who have overdosed on drugs like heroin. I hear she's too weak to walk, and this tour she was about to launch may never happen. Madonna, everybody has their moment. Take a note from the book of Cher and some others. You don't have to try to compete with these young girls. Let them look up to you and respect you. Who's not getting respect? Ike Turner Jr. I told you he was in jail for that whole thing with him trying to swallow the crack when the cops pulled him over to arrest him. He's still in jail. His bail is $70,000, and all you need to bail out is 10%. So I guess nobody's stepping up and putting up the $7,000 to get him out. So his mother has got to be rolling in her grave. Good God, Tina Turner, we love you. Recently, Nelly sold half of his music catalog for $50 million. No, it's not Babyface or Bruce Springsteen money, but if Nelly is smart with his spending, and he can still do shows, he can be very comfortable going to marry Ashanti, and inquiring minds want to know, did he pay the $50,000 for her to get that star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? That's all I got. Y'all ain't got no more. It's your girl, Tonya B. This is how we sip the tea each and every Sunday right here on This Is the G Podcast. Subscribe, go to YouTube, go to streaming platforms, go to the website, Kestropolis.net, so you don't miss a thing. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful week. Be kind and be careful. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Tonya B. Yeah, and also thanks India.Irie for being that Maya Angelou character on Medea's Family Reunion. Somebody had to say it. Somebody. So, yeah, kudos, girl. Say it again. Thank you, India.Irie. And with that, y'all know what time it is,
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
Yeah, See It Loud, the history of Black television airs. It's going to air every Sunday night, beginning as we tape on this day tonight through August 6th. It talks about the history of Black television. Can't wait for it. It's another Maverick Carter, LeBron James collaboration. And again, it's going to air as we tape on this day every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern through August 6th. So can't wait for it. Shout out to the talented Atlanta-born comedian Jonathan Slocum, who plays Pastor on the recent episode of Season 2's Wonder Years on ABC. And this episode also stars Patti LaBelle. She plays Dean, who's the lead character's Grandma Shirley. Insecure is on Netflix, y'all, for those who've never seen it and are those like me who just want to relive it. Insecure is really great television. Very, very good. Very good. And finally, I have to admit that I am one of the brothers who has watched the WHAM documentary. Yes. And, it's part of the trend in a lot of these documentaries that really focus more so on the journey than on the scandal. And, with that, it really focuses on how the sausage was made, how everything was created with WHAM. And, I wasn't a big fan of the early stuff, the WHAM rap and, all that Young Gun stuff. But I will tell you, Careless Whispers and Everything She Wants is just genius. So if you like that part of it, it does talk about that. And it's really overall a pretty good story. And again, that is the WHAM documentary on Netflix. Check it out. That's my take. Would love to know yours. Share your thoughts. Go to Kestropolis.net. Hit the people poll. Yes. And let me know what you think. Would love to know. And again, always big thanks to Mike, Talib Shabazz, Vi, Tonya B. Thank you so much for your excellent insight and content. Remember, every Sunday at 6 p.m., we stream. So we stream it first every Sunday, 6 p.m. You can go to, and we do have a YouTube channel at This Is the G Podcast. The video and audio of all episodes are there. You can search at This Is the G Podcast. The easy part is just go to our social media. It's in the bio, or go to Kestropolis.net. All the links are there. Plus, now we're on Threads, y'all. So give it up for Threads. Yes. I have been looking for a way to get away from Twitter, and I think I have found it. Let us know your thoughts on Threads, by the way, but we are there. And again, we'll make sure all the ways to find us are on the website at Kestropolis.net. But again, if you follow us on other social media, you'll see. Okay, share us with your friends, y'all. As I remind you, it don't cost you nothing. And shout out to the Gooden fam, big time. Southside. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Great fun, peaceful, man. Love those peaceful outdoor family events. Just, love y'all, man. Great fun. And next week, I guess we didn't really have a chance to get into it because it's still developing, but the South Fulton mayor being arrested, man, in the Atlanta metro area. We'll find out more and bring it up, and we'll talk about it. We don't know what it's about, so we'll see. And with that, episode 183 is in the can. Have a great week, y'all. We are out of here. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B. The G Podcast is a production of the Kestropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.